Swimming fast requires swimmers to swim big at high stroke rates. Simple in concept, difficult in practice. Let's go over one of the most effective strategies to help swimmers make it happen. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. Swimmers have to swim bigger if they want to create more speed, but simply telling swimmers to do so doesn't do a whole lot of good. Instead, if we can put them in situations where they have to figure out how to make it happen, we can help them learn this critical skill in a lot less time and to a much higher level. While working on specific skills is an important component of helping swimmers swim bigger, sometimes we just have to put them in situations where they have to figure out. Let's take a look at how to make it happen. Creating speed is ultimately simple. If swimmers can swim bigger at speed, they're going to swim faster. Speed is just stroke rate, how fast the arms are moving, times stroke length, which is how far swimmers are getting with each stroke. Most swimmers are at least somewhat competent at one half of the equation. Or they can swim really big, but they really struggle to pick up the rate. And when they only have half the equation, they're only creating half the speed. So both length and rate are required if swimmers want to go as fast as they can. And swimmers really struggle to make that happen. They have an intuition, which is incorrect, that if they want to move their arms faster, they have to take shorter strokes. And if they want to take bigger strokes, they have to slow their arms down. And as I'm sure you know, just telling a swimmer to swim bigger or just move your arms faster, it doesn't tend to work out quite like we'd hope. Instead, I've found the most effective strategy is to put swimmers in situations where they have to figure it out and where the activities themselves give them a ton of feedback as to whether they're being successful or not. And that allows them to learn how to create length at speed, which allows them to create even more speed. One of the most effective strategies is also one of the simplest. All you have to do, tell them that that's the limit, they can't take more, and then you ask them to go as fast as they can. So they're trying to create as much speed as possible at that stroke count. So the only way that they can create more speed is to learn how to pick up the stroke rate while still swimming long. Because if they start to spin, that stroke count's going to go up, and if they don't create any speed, that means the rate isn't going up. So swimmers have to learn how to do both. And the problem they typically face is that they'll just try to swim faster, but they don't have any way to know whether they were being effective or not. Because they're not keeping track of their stroke count, and they might not even be keeping track of their time, they don't know if what they're doing is actually working. But if they do a repetition and they try to go faster and they pick up their rate, but they take 3 more strokes, they know that. They get that concrete feedback, and that allows them to change. So they know that whatever they didn't work. At the same time, if they try to stay really long and maybe they hit the stroke count or even take less strokes, but their time is really, really slow, they also realize that what they were doing was not effective. They were okay on the length side, they weren't good on the rate side. And because humans are problem solvers, you put them in the situation where they get immediate feedback, clear feedback, they're going to learn a whole lot faster. It allows the numbers to provide the coaching rather than us telling them, hey, that looked good, or that was long, or you moved your arms faster. They know. The numbers tell them what works and what doesn't. And so if they have success, they can try to repeat that, do that again, and see if they can take that strategy, whatever they did, execute it at a higher level, and see if they can improve even more. And if they fail, they know that they need to either change what they're doing or change how they're doing it. By giving them the results and giving them feedback about their rate and their length, we allow them to figure out how to make both happen at the same time. As with any strategy, the results we get are going to be dictated by implementation. So when using this strategy, I like to use a range of stroke counts. If I want them to focus more on the length side, I give them lower stroke counts that they have to hit. If I want to emphasize the rate side, let them practice going faster, use higher stroke counts. But regardless of the stroke counts, we're still helping them learn how to optimize the relationship between stroke rate and stroke length. And by shifting that stroke count up and down, we can broaden their skill set. It's also useful to use it in different training contexts. You can use it during sprint work, you can use it during endurance work, you can use it during race pace work. And regardless, you're going to want to choose appropriate stroke counts for that situation. And the slower they're going, typically they can use lower stroke counts, and the faster you want them to go, you're going to have to use higher stroke counts. Not many people are going to be able to create a ton of speed with 8 strokes and a 25-meter length, especially if you're limiting their dolphin kicks. So using it in different training contexts is going to help them learn a broader skill set, and it's going to make those skills more resilient in the face of fatigue. It's also really effective to combine this strategy with other skill development strategies, so you can have them try to create as much speed at a certain stroke count when they're swimming against resistance. That's going to overload their ability to create a lot of propulsion. Or when they're using training aids, if you put a pull buoy in, that's going to force them to do all the work with their upper body. If you change their hand postures, now they got to figure out how to make it happen with just their forearm. If you have them close their fist, for example, or if there's certain drills that you like, you can have them figure out, how do I create as much speed at length when using a different drill? Whatever that drill is targeting, swimmers are going to have to perform at a much higher level when using this strategy. So here's a butterfly set that puts these ideas into practice. They're going to go 4 rounds through. They're going to go 5 25s butterfly. The first 3 are with resistance. The first one, they're going to minimize stroke count and time, so be really long and be really fast, trying to be as long and as fast as they can. And then whatever their stroke count is on that first one, they're going to add a stroke and they have to go faster. And they're trying to go as fast as they can at that higher stroke count. On the third one, they're going to add another stroke and try to go faster than the second one. Then they're going to go 25 butterfly, minimize stroke count and time, no equipment. See how long, how fast they can be. And then on the last 25, whatever they did on the fourth one, add another stroke and go even faster. We're going to limit them to 4 dolphin kicks each wall. The dolphin kick number can be whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. The point is we'd want the kick count to be the same so that when they change the stroke count, we're changing how big they swim. On the odd rounds, they're going to use drag socks, which is going to put a lot of pressure on their legs. They're going to have to kick really well, kick really effectively, and kick really hard. And on the evens, they'll have the parachute, which is going to put more pressure on their upper body, so they have to work more on those skills. So we're changing the emphasis of the skills by changing the resistance, and we're using the stroke count, and we're changing the stroke count to help swimmers learn how to create as much speed as possible across a range of stroke counts. Next set is a little bit more of an endurance set with a little bit of quality built in. They're going to go 2 rounds through. They're going to go 10 100s. The odds are always freestyle with a buoy. Take as few strokes as possible, being really long. On the evens, the first one, they're going to do the same stroke count as they do with the buoy, but it's going to be fast. And so because they have the legs now, it's kind of like getting a couple more strokes back, but they're still trying to go as fast as they can, but it's still going to be pretty long because they're not going to have a ton of strokes. Then as they go through the set, they get 2 more strokes per 50, and they're still trying to go as fast as they can at that stroke count. But as they get strokes back, they should be able to create more and more speed. So those even 100s are going to be descended 1 to 5. They're always as fast as possible, but the swimmers are limited in speed when they start based upon the stroke count. And as they get strokes back, they should be able to create more and more speed. So they're going to be going back and forth between being really, really long and then being long and fast and progressively faster as they go through. You can keep the rest intervals relatively tight here, and they can use those odd 100s as sort of an active rest where they're trying to stay really long, but they're not necessarily going really fast, and then they can really let it rip on those even ones, but they still have to be really good with staying big because they can only take so many strokes, and they're trying to create as much speed as they can with those strokes. Last set's a breaststroke set, working on the kick, the pull, and putting it all together. So they're going to go 6 rounds through. They're going to go 50 breaststroke kick with a board as fast as they can, then a 50 breaststroke as fast as they can, then a 50 breaststroke with dolphin kick, so pull basically, fast as well, and then a 50 breaststroke as fast as possible. 50 easy scull, again, repeat 6 times. Now in round 1, we're going to start with really low stroke counts, really low kick counts for the swimmers. So they're trying to go fast, but they're staying pretty long. On round 2, we're adding a stroke or a kick to the previous round, and swimmers are going to try to create more speed. Then on round 3, we're adding another stroke, another kick, and swimmers are going to try to go even faster. Then we're going to go back down. So on round 4, they're going to go the same stroke count and kick count as round 2, try to beat those times on round 5, the same as round 1, and they're going to try to beat those times, and then we're going to go back to the stroke counts and kick counts on round 3, and they're trying to be faster. With this set, there's a real focus on length with the pulling, the kicking, and the swimming, so the speeds probably won't be that fast, but there's a real emphasis on creating as much speed as they can with a lot of length. Swimmers are going to have to hold a ton of water. They're going to have great lines, and that's going to allow them to create a lot of speed. And again, the numbers are going to let them know if they were successful. And by playing across a range of stroke counts and kick counts, we're going to help swimmers build a broader skill set as well. If you want to learn more about how to use stroke counts to help swimmers build endurance, check out the video below.